Good morning, St. Mary's. So I had to lean in awkwardly close here, so I hope that doesn't bother you. But my computer, the camera is horrible, or not the camera, the video audio is horrible, so I can't. So I have to speak loud. But anyways, so I was in Wisconsin last week, and I'm just looking at an order out there. So there's a religious group, and I'm just kind of discerning with them. It was a really neat experience. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. But one of the conversations we had was about our guardian angels. So I don't really hear that talked about, but we all have an angel next to us. He's actually in the room with us right now. And there's been a lot of testimonies of people seeing their guardian angel or their guardian angel protecting them. So, one instance, there's a lady who was walking down the street and she saw a guy who was, I think, approaching her, and she just got nervous. And so she said a prayer to her guardian angel, and she said, for protection or whatever. And the guy kind of looked troubled and just kind of walked the other way. And she was kind of puzzled by that. And then a few days later, this person was charged for murder of another woman, and she found out about this, and somehow she ended up asking him, like, okay, like I remember seeing you. Why didn't you do that to me? And and his response was, well, you were walking next to somebody who was, this big guy that I didn't want to mess with. And she said, no, I was by myself, and so those kind of manifestations just indicate, yeah, there are guardian angels, and there's thousands of them, right? Um, it's not uncommon to hear something like that. So they are there. They look after us. And and Father Chad Rippinger, who's an exorcist online, talks about angels and demons quite a bit. Like that's his job to know. So he knows it far better than I do. But they're all given an option to either serve us at the beginning of time, at the very first instance of their creation. They had an option to either serve God in taking care of us as their mission, or reject God's mission for them, which was to take care of us. And they chose. And so the one that we have now chose for us to chose to take care of us. Okay. Um, so the way that they work is that angels know everything about the physical world within an instant, right? So they can look at a tree and know everything there is to know about about what a tree is. So they already have the understanding of what trees are. So for us, we need to study, we need to investigate, we need to kind of learn about the particulars of trees. Angels just simply know. Um, like the essence of what a thing is, and then they learn about the particulars. So, for instance, they know exactly what a like what a tree is, and then they just study each of the particulars of each example. So that's a little complicated, but to give a better example, so human beings, so they know us, they know our biology, they know how we act, they know why we do things better than we ourselves know them, but they don't know us particularly. So they study each individual as he moves through his life and how he acts and responds to different scenarios. And so they understand the general concept of humanity, and then they narrow in on the particulars and they find out. They're incredibly smart, right? They're much more intelligent than we are, obviously, and so our guardian angels are there for our good. What I didn't know is that they don't know our thoughts. So only our thoughts, God and us, are the only people that have access to our thoughts. So when God says, do not judge, it's simply because we don't have access to the full understanding of somebody else's thoughts. Okay, so if they're doing something that might not make sense to us, doesn't doesn't mean that they're wrong, right? Or we can't just draw these conclusions. Oh, they did this because of this. Nobody, not even the angels, who are much more intelligent than us, have that capacity or that capability. Okay, so that's why we're told not to judge. But the angels, they do have an ability to. So this is interesting. they can they have the ability to here are thoughts if they're directed towards them. Okay, so that sounds strange. They don't have access to the thoughts in our mind unless it's directed towards them. Okay, so this is a very strange instance that Father Chad Rippinger talked about, but he said that at one point it's called telepathy. So, like, you can communicate with thoughts to your guardian angel or to a demon. And so, Chad Rippinger at one point during an exorcism was thinking questions in his mind to this person who's possessed, and the demon would respond out loud. Okay, but he would ask the questions in his mind. And guardian angels are the same way. They don't have access to our thoughts, but if we direct our thoughts to them, if we ask them, like, "Hey, protect me in this certain moment," they receive that. Okay, and so yeah, so that's kind of an interesting reality. That's just a different thing that I didn't know about our guardian angels. But it's not automatic, right? So it's something that we, again, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find. So we need to ask in order for them to respond to us. It's not just like an automatic thing. And so that helped me to realize, like, in order for my guardian angel to be more involved in my life, I actually have to use my mind and say, okay, guardian angel, help me in this circumstance. Help me with this temptation that's going on. This is a stupid example, but it's like those really cheesy like videos or those MMA fighters, and like they have to tap the other person. That's the same thing, right? Like we have to kind of turn to them and ask them for help, and that's how we cultivate a relationship with our guardian angels. So I just thought that was interesting, and it's helped me actually quite a bit. Talking to my guardian angel and asking them for help, and they're there for a reason. God gives them there, just not just so they can watch us like they're watching a football game, just like, oh, hope he does it. But they're really there to help us. But again, we have to kind of make them involved, right? To get them involved if we're going to receive their assistance. So that's it. That's all I know for guardian angels, and I just wanted to pass that along. If you have any questions, Father Chad Rippinger on guardian angels has like 45 minutes, and it's very well articulated. So if you are curious about this, that's somewhere you go. All right, God bless you. Have a great rest of the day, and I hope to see you soon. Have a good day.